Let's say that you would like to display your digital photos as though they were printed on a page, similar to this effect, how you have the nice shadow and a white border around each of your photos. It's a very simple task to do. Let me demonstrate how to do this in this video. First of all, I'm going to create a new Photoshop document. Choose the size that I would like this to be. I'm going to choose US paper and call this Picture Collage. I click OK. And now I want to put in my first picture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place a picture. What that does is that references the original picture to this document. So I'm going to go up to File, Place. I'm going to find the image that I would like to use, select it, click on Place. Now it comes in and it has these anchor points around the edge of the picture. It also has this X. That's telling me that it allows me to transform or reshape this object. I can click on the corner and I can drag. Now watch, if I drag just side to side, notice how it skews the shape of this image. I can also drag on the top and I can mess up this photo rather quickly. If I want to make sure that my aspect ratio, or the width versus the height, stays the same, if I hold Shift on the keyboard and drag, it's going to restrain the picture or constrain it to the proportions that it originally was. I'm going to go ahead and resize this a little bit so that it fits and move it to where I want. Now to accept the changes that I've made and to accept this image as a place photo, I press Enter on the keyboard. Notice how the X and the boxes are gone. Also, on my Layers panel, I can see this little icon here. This is telling me that this is actually a smart object and it's referencing this picture. This picture is seen somewhere else and it's referencing this picture, but it's putting it inside of Photoshop. Now what I want to do is give it a drop shadow and a nice white border to make it look almost like a photo sitting on the paper. To do that, I'm going to click on the layer over here that has the picture in it, and you can see the thumbnail shows me which one has the picture. I'm going to go down to the FX button, or the Layer Styles button, and I want to add a drop shadow. When I do this, this dialog box pops up. The drop shadow is selected in blue and there's a check mark. I can turn that on or off. You can make sure you see what's going on by making sure preview is turned on so that it shows you what is happening in your image. Now I can make this a little bit further out. I can give it a bigger spread. Maybe I can make the size a little bit bigger as well. I'm going to keep the size relatively small. Maybe bring the spread in just a little bit. Now what I've done is I've added a drop shadow. If I turn that off, you can see it disappears. Now I want to have a white border that goes around the outside of this photo. So I'm going to come down here to Stroke, click on it, and now this gives me a couple of options. Right now there's a black stroke of 3 pixels in size. I want to change this to a much larger pixel or much larger stroke. I'm going to do it about 35 or 40, somewhere in that range. Now I have a couple of options. I can do it on the outside, and you can see that here, but it gives it kind of these rounded edges. Instead, I'm going to change this to the inside, and it gives me a little bit straighter edge. It does blur a little bit where the shadow is. In fact, let me change this color to the white so it looks like it's printed on paper. If I click OK, now it looks more like there's a white paper with a little bit of a shadow because it's underneath the paper. So under the layer styles, there's numerous options that you can add or change. Simply by clicking on that option, a new dialog comes up here, and you can adjust the settings of the image. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust mine to right about there. Maybe change the size a little bit. Once I'm pleased with how it looks, I simply click OK. And now I have a picture that almost looks like a photograph was just printed and sitting on this page. I'm going to go ahead and do this to 2 more. File, Place. I'm going to choose another image. I'm going to hold the Shift key and drag to resize this image to the size I want it to be. I'm going to drop it in the location I want it to be. Then I press Enter on the keyboard. It now has my image right here. Now I want my exact same effects that I applied to the first image applied to the second image. If I right-click on the word Effects, go down to Copy Layer Style, click on my next image, right-click, go down to Paste Layer Style. I now have the exact same settings, and I can do this for one more image. File, Place, I can resize this image. Remember, hold the Shift key to keep the proportions the same. And now I can press Enter, or I could hit this check mark to accept the changes that I've just made. Or I could cancel, and it will delete out the picture. I'm going to go ahead and place that in again. And you can rotate as well. If your cursor goes right around the edge of this box, notice how I can rotate where that picture is. I'm going to move this down here, right about there. I'm going to hit the check mark to commit the changes. And now I'm going to copy the layer style. Right-clicked on Effects. I come up here, right-click, paste layer style. It might be out of the video screen a little bit, but if you just go paste layer style, I now have 3 pictures that look like they're photos stacked one on top of the other. A very simple effect, but it allows you to display your photos, your digital photos, as though they were a printed photo on this page.